Did you see the 1,900-year-old stone bust that was turned up by archaeologists last week that bore more than a little resemblance to the king of rock, Elvis Presley? Well, it seems he's not the only celeb to strike a pose like a statue. Here's Bruce Forsyth looking like the thinker.
Oh, yeah.
And here's our own Carol looking like the drinker. Can you see the difference? Not at all. You can stop now, Carol. There's nothing in it. No, seriously, there's nothing in it. Money-wise or alcohol-wise, there ain't nothing in it.
No, there ain't nothing in it.
Okay, now most people make a big old fuss about their big day. Getting hitched is always a special occasion, even if it's kept quite low-key. But what about when you get divorced? Not only can you buy a congratulations on your divorce card nowadays, but divorce fairs for people seeking advice and services on how best to split are also on the rise. Now, we recently received an email from a viewer who wrote in saying, "Hi, loose women. I've just got divorced after 10 years of hell, and I looked everywhere for banners to celebrate with, and I couldn't find them anywhere. Lots of people celebrate divorce these days, so my friend made me one to celebrate the fact that I'm so much happier divorced. The banner has been getting lots of attention from passers-by."
Finally! Oh.
Finally, absolutely. So what do we make of that? Is divorce something to be celebrated, do we think?
Oh, my word. Well, I tell you what, I think it depends on the length of time. Because when I got... If my divorce had
that you were married or that you've been split up?
No, that you've been split up. Because if my divorce had come through, you know, in the first year of it all going horribly wrong, I think I probably would have been devastated, much more devastated than I was. But because my divorce came through 5 years after it had all gone wrong, there was, I have to say, an element of, when it came through... How do I put this subtly?
Why did it take so long?
There was an element of me going, yes, as it came through, because I felt liberated, because I felt
relieved, probably.
It's over. It's finally over. I can move forward. You know, I was already with Ray, and Shane was with Christy, and but yet we were still kind of held together because officially we were still married. So within the 5 years, it was great. But I mean, I didn't throw a big party or, you know, run down the street with a banner or anything. But
I think that's a bit sick, actually.
Thanks.
No, throwing a party, you chump.
I thought you meant me being happy.
No. I mean, no, I can kind of... I wasn't happy at all when my divorce came through. I just don't ever think that it's anything to ever celebrate. I mean, to me, it was just the ultimate hideous failure. Like, why would you... I mean, in any sense, it doesn't matter how much you want to get away from somebody.
Well, it is a failure. It's a terrible failure.
It is. You felt that.
I felt the failure for the first 2 years. That's what I'm saying. If it had come through then, I'd have been so depressed and probably never got over it. But I tell you what helped me stop thinking it was a failure, and that's because I had counselling. And that saved my life. That gave me the courage to end the marriage properly. Because I think if I hadn't have had counselling, who knows? I may never have got the courage to leave.
Why did you think it was a failure?
Because when I got married, I intended to be married for the rest of my life. I didn't particularly want to be a statistic. I didn't want to have to tick that little thing on a form that says married, single, divorced, and I still don't tick that. I tick single because I just think I think it's a terrible label and a horrible stigma. To be divorced, I think it's
become a statistic. You sit there and go, "I'm the one in 3 that didn't."
My mum was divorced, and when I got married, I thought, it's not going to happen to me. I'm not going to make the same mistake as my mum did, and it did, and that was the only horrific part of it. You know, as much as I was glad to be separated from him, I didn't particularly like the idea of being divorced because I did see it as an overwhelming failure. But the whole party thing, to celebrate something and to have divorce fairs where there are, you know, countless people making money out of divorce. Out of your misery. I think, where did that all come from? And I was invited to a divorce party once to a couple of people I hardly knew, and they sent through this, like, you know, this embossed invitation and everything that said, "Come and celebrate our divorce." And I thought,
well, that's probably moving on, though. That's probably them trying to move on, Carol, isn't it?
I know, but it's, you know, just be private about it. When mine came through, I didn't particularly want to be in the country because I didn't want to see the envelope come through the door, and I didn't want to open it and go, ugh.
Well, it sounded like you didn't want a divorce.
Well, you don't want a divorce.
No, I did want a divorce.
You don't want one. It's just that I've never... I mean, we were together for about 29 years, something like that. And we've just never done it. I mean,
how long have you been apart now?
Apart 6 years.
And you've not even...
No,
Why haven't you then?
Well, I don't know. I mean, maybe I need to go to one of those fairs so I can get a sticker to say this person should be divorced. Because the thing is...
Does it make any difference to you at all?
Not really, but I always
does.
see divorce as a slight kind of... it's like bereavement, isn't it? It's like the death of something. It's the final end of something.
So
but
what you're saying is you're not ready to make it the end of something.
I must be, because that's ridiculous. The only thing is I don't like the forms when they say, right, you know, married. Now, what I do is explain. I say, no, the thing is I'm going to tick married, but I'm not really married. Well, I still am, but I haven't been. And I tell them the whole story. Like they're interested and they fall asleep and wake up and say, have you finished? So, I mean, maybe I should, but... I think
Ken, though, does he want a divorce or not? Has it ever been mentioned?
I've never spoken to him since that day, so we've never mentioned, we don't talk about it. I think it's a difficult thing to talk about, actually, because if you've been married that long, to lose that missus it's a strange thing now, to move on to that.
I think that's why you're hanging on to it.
And also,
why?
I don't think necessarily...
You want to be Mrs. whatever you
well,
are.
I don't want to be, but the thing is, what you're saying is the only reason it got through is because of counselling and to tell somebody that it's okay, actually, to move on and move forward and close the door. I think closing a door is a difficult thing to do,
and also,
whether you want or not.
I don't necessarily think it's got anything to do with the length of time that you've been married. I mean, you say that you were married to Ray. Ooh, where'd that come from? To Ken. For, you know, for just under 30 years. It's a painful process, but you can be married to someone for less than that, and it's still a painful thing to do. Yeah. But I mean, I got divorced just over a year after you know, separating from my husband, and I have to say that it was singularly the worst thing that has ever happened to me. It was the worst experience that I've ever been to, and I left. It was hideous in every single conceivable way, and I know that when my final bit of paper came through, there was no way I felt like celebrating. I sat at home and cried. And yet I've got a friend of mine who her divorce came through within about a month of mine, and she had all her mates around the pub and they had champagne and this sort of thing. People just react to it differently. I personally just felt crushed.
Does it depend on how difficult it is? Because, you know, obviously you obviously had a bit of a fight on your hands and you had to go to court, didn't you? I mean, mine wasn't. You know, it was 2 months after we split up. That was it. Nothing. Never saw him again. But we didn't get divorced for like 5 or 6 years. It wasn't a problem. It was, you know, it's just that he went and told the press that we were getting divorced and I hadn't agreed, so I just held back and then made him wait 5 years. And, but, you know, it wasn't a big deal, and I didn't actually feel any different. I didn't feel any different because I was still married to him. It's just when the time came, I just thought, oh, I might as well, you know, go on then. Have a divorce. So I had a divorce, and I didn't particularly feel very different, but it was no problem, and yours was a bit... You know, it wasn't easy either, was it?
You all need counselling.
Yes.
No, I don't.
You really do.
No, I don't. You do.
Okay, now, if of course you need